Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing T Street. I wanted to come to you today. This coffee mug says, "The world needs who God made you to be." Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today's topic: dance like the photo is not being tagged. Dance like the photo is not being tagged. Sometimes the reason we don't fully live is because we're worried about who's watching, who's judging, and especially who's tagging, especially in this day and age. We freeze, we filter, we fake it. But life gets better when you dance. Woo! Like the photo is not being tagged. When you stop performing for approval and start living for purpose, here are three ways, y'all, that you can do that. Good morning, Alana. Here are three ways that we can dance like the photo is not being tagged. Number one, stop living for the screenshot. Some people won't dance because they're afraid someone will capture the moment. Not their best angle, not their best move, not their best self. But here's the truth. When you live life worried about screenshots, you never fully show up. You start editing your personality. You start shrinking your voice. You start holding back your joy. But can I just be real transparent? The best moments in my life are rarely the polished moments of my life. They're raw, they're spontaneous, and if I'm honest, y'all, they're sometimes a little messy. When you dance like the photo isn't being tagged, you give yourself permission to laugh too loud, to try something new, to be goofy, to celebrate without apology, because joy was never meant to be curated. It was meant to be experienced. One of the reasons I love working with young people is because young people, yeah, y'all think that they're just taking photos for filters and, all that kind of stuff and everything is photogram. Can I tell you one of the great joys I have in working with young people is that they show up authentically and their attitude is, "Oh well, you don't like me, oh well," and they laugh loudly. I'm like, "Y'all, every day that kids come to my program, I'm like, "Y'all, we're gonna do this today." They're like, "All right, let's try it." They're not afraid to be goofy. And in fact, yesterday one of the young people text me something and I was like, "Goofball," and I put the laughing emojis and he knew what I meant and he laughed back because they're not trying to filter their lives. They're just being authentically who they are. Number two, be free from the fear of opinions. Now, people are like, "T, that's easily said, but much harder done." Let's be honest. Some of us don't dance because we're worried about what people will say. I've got a good friend, and people always say, "She's extra." I said, "She only extra for people who are not enough." She's only extra for people who are not enough. They'll say, "You're doing too much. You're doing the most. They look silly. They always extra." But here's the thing, the same people that are judging you aren't dancing either. And because they don't dance, they don't want you to dance. They're just standing on the wall of life, critiquing everybody else's rhythm. You cannot fully live while managing everybody else's opinions. When you dance like the photo isn't being tagged, you stop asking for permission. You stop needing validation. Can I just tell you, I stopped seeking validation, especially from people who are not valid. Good morning, Carrie, who are not valid themselves. I stopped seeking it from folks. Why are we always seeking validation from people who are not valid themselves? You stop shrinking to make other people comfortable. And suddenly, y'all, you are not just dancing, you're free. Because freedom sounds like laughter. Y'all, yesterday I had a belly laugh, the kind that people came back to make sure I was okay. I couldn't catch my breath. I was laughing so loud and so hard. It was the hard for me, y'all. I was laughing. Something happened and it was so joyful to my spirit. Freedom looks like confidence. Freedom looks like movement. People are like, T, even when I'm not feeling my best, y'all walk into a room like I own it. People are like, how do you get on the stage in front of 3,000 and 4,000 kids and just do your thing? I said, because I get up there like I can't control their opinions of me anyway. So I'm just going to be me. I'm going to do me. Good morning, Lori. I'm going to do me. I'm going to be me. That's all I can do, y'all. I can't be anything else. So when we get up there and we just dance like it's not being tagged, woo, we got a freedom that we never really understood or really knew. Enjoy the moment before it becomes a memory. I noticed something recently. I take a lot less photos, and the photos that I have taken, they're in my phone. Y'all got like 15,000 photos on my phone because I got a lot of memory. They're on my phone, but they're not always on my page because some memories are just for me. When my mother, who had Alzheimer's, when she started to lose her memory, I got one of those like screens where you could download photos and just go over them. And she would sit and watch those photos for hours because there was something in those photos that was triggering memories for her. But she didn't miss the moment. I took her on one of the trips that she wanted to go on 2 years before she lost all of her memory. And I captured like almost 600 photos, and she would watch it over and she would say, I'm going to go back there. I loved that. But enjoy the moment before it becomes a memory. Too many people experience life through a lens instead of living in the moment. So though you may be capturing the photos, y'all, don't spend so much time that you capture the photo, but you miss the moment. Before the song even drops, they're thinking, where's my phone? Who's recording? Let me fix myself. And by the time they're ready, the moment is gone. But when you dance like the photo isn't being tagged, you stop documenting and you start living. You stop posing and you start participating. You stop worrying about the replay and you start enjoying the right now, because life isn't meant to be perfectly posted. It's meant to be fully lived. And one day, the memories that matter most won't be the ones that looked perfect. It won't be the ones that we curated and made sure that all the lighting was right. It'll be the ones that felt real. So, y'all, today I challenge you to laugh loud, celebrate big, take chances, be unapologetically you. Dance when the music hits. Smile without checking your angle and live without editing your joy, because life gets better when you stop worrying about who's watching and you start living like the photo is not being tagged. Dance anyway, live anyway, be free anyway. Y'all, I dare you today to start dancing like the photo is not being tagged. Stop living for the screenshot. Be free from the fear of opinions of other people. What other people think of you can't be your business, because if you try to conform to their opinions, you become a pretzel. Dance, don't pretzel. Enjoy the moment before it becomes a memory. I'm the amazing T Street, but you already know there's absolutely positively nothing amazing in me that's not in each and every one of you. So today, dance like the photo is not being tagged. Have an amazing day.